Because you can fake for a long time, but one day you're gonna show yourself to be a phony.
That's for true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what these, a lot of people are doing these days. Watch people.
No, you probably won't be here right now.
We are here today about a grand jury indictment that was returned that included not just Jeffrey Williams, which is of some notoriety and media attention, but about 28 defendants that operated within our community between the time period of 2012 and 2022. It is our allegation that they operated as a criminal street gang and commenced to do havoc in our community. That havoc includes crimes of violence, crimes of thefts, crimes involving drugs. I've made no secret about it, nor any apology that as the district attorney of Fulton County, my number one focus is targeting gangs.
I'll tell you the response to any allegation is Mr. Williams committed no crime whatsoever, and we will fight to my last drop of blood to clear him.
It does not matter what your notoriety is, what your fame is. If you come to Fulton County, Georgia, and you commit crimes, and certainly if those crimes are in furtherance of a street gang, that you are going to become a target and a focus of this district attorney's office, and we are going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
Young Thug is facing 8 out of 65 total charges in the YSL RICO case. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. Young Thug is facing 8 charges in the sprawling RICO case against his Young Slime Life collective. The charges against the Atlanta rapper, real name Jeffrey Williams, were confirmed in court documents on Wednesday, January 4th, as day 1 of jury selection in the trial began in Fulton County, Georgia. The RICO indictment contains a total of 65 counts levied against Thug and other members of YSL, who prosecutors allege is a criminal street gang affiliated with the Bloods that is behind a series of violent crimes in the Atlanta area, including murder and armed robbery. Thugger's 8 counts include conspiracy to violate the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, and 2 counts of participation in criminal street gang activity, which were filed when the rapper was originally indicted in May of 2022. He has also been charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of codeine with intent to distribute, possession of cocaine, possession of a firearm, and possession of a machine gun. The drug and gun charges were filed in August and stem from items seized during a police search of Thug's home in Buckhead, Atlanta during his May arrest. Young Thug was one of 28 YSL members arrested in the RICO case, but that number has since dwindled down to 14. Several defendants have taken plea deals in recent weeks, including Gunna, who was released from jail last month after pleading guilty to a single racketeering charge. Now, while Young Thug has maintained his innocence, the plea deals are expected to make his fight for freedom an even bigger uphill battle. While accepting his negotiated plea deal in December, Antonio Monk Tunk Sledge admitted in court that 1 or more YSL members were behind the 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas, and that he and other YSL associates were paid by Young Thug to lay low after the killing. Sledge, who was sentenced to 15 years probation after pleading guilty to conspiracy to violate the RICO Act and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, also agreed to testify at trial if necessary. Also on the state's witness list are a slew of high-profile hip-hop figures, including Lil Wayne, Birdman, and YFN Lucci. Birdman was implicated along with Young Thug in the 2015 shooting of Wayne's tour bus, while Thugger allegedly ordered the jail stabbing of Lucci last March. The defense's witness list, meanwhile, includes fellow Atlanta rapper Killer Mike and veteran hip-hop executives Leor Cohen and Kevin Liles, who helped steer Thugger to stardom, as well as a number of hip-hop experts and authors. The high-profile trial is expected to last for at least 9 months, with the media pool schedule running through September of 2023, according to law and crime reporter Kathy Rustin. So what are your thoughts on these 8 charges Young Thug is facing in this YSL RICO case? And how do you think this case is going to play out for him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and keep it locked to Hip Hop DX.
Do you want to go, Mr. Williams, where are you?
I'm here.
Mr. Williams, good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Williams, did you have the opportunity to read and discuss the waivers, that your handwritten waiver and the typed waiver that were signed on the 18th of May of this year, 2022?
Yes.
All right. I'm just going to go through it with you right quick, okay? It references on this particular date and you are Jeffrey Williams, who's born on August the 16th, 1991. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. It says you've consulted with attorney Keith Adams on the matters contained therein, and you state basically as the following, okay? That you are the same Jeffrey Williams charged in indictment 22 SC 182273, and that was the prior indictment in this case. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, you understand that your case has been re-indicted in 22 SC 183572. Have you had the opportunity to speak with your attorney about the new indictment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It also references that you're being currently held, and right now you're in the Cobb County Detention Facility. Is that correct?
No, I'm in Cobb.
Okay, that's what I said. You're in the Cobb County?
Oh, yes.
Cobb County Detention Facility. And this contains the indictment 22 SC 182273. And that case has been re-indicted, as I mentioned, in case ending 572. So that's correct. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then number 3 says that you've received, read, and understand the charges contained in the reference indictment. And you're aware that you're being charged in the indictment with other individuals. Is that still your understanding?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 4 represents that you're currently being represented by attorney Brian Steele and Keith Adams, and that you've been represented by attorney Brian Steele since the date of your arrest on May the 9th of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
It also references that you have been represented by Mr. Steele in other legal matters and unequivocally desire his continued relationship, and you also established a trusted attorney-client relationship with Mr. Steele. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. It also references that you've had daily meetings and consultations with Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams regarding your case and specifically your defense. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then you met with Mr. Adams, number 6, independently and outside the presence of Mr. Steele concerning any potential conflicts of interest regarding Mr. Steele's representation of other persons named in the indictment as well as you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 7 references that specifically Mr. Adams has discussed with you the specifics of the State Bar of Georgia rules pertaining to conflicts contained in the Georgia Rules of Professional Conduct, specifically 1.7, 1.9, and 3.7. And Mr. Adams has discussed with you thoroughly and completely the issues related to any potential or alleged conflicts in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 8 references that based on your discussions with Mr. Adams, you're unequivocally waiving any null conflicts and desire in no uncertain terms for Mr. Steele to continue to represent you in this matter. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Number 9 references that you're aware that Mr. Steele has represented other persons in this indictment, and notwithstanding any relationship Mr. Steele may have or may have had with any other person or persons contained in this indictment, you waive any potential conflicts. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then number 10 says that you've met with Mr. Steele and discussed that what we've discussed here. After review, the state's motion to disqualify Mr. Steele as your counsel, and that you have stated to Mr. Steele unequivocally and without reservation, and you state to me, the court, that you waive any potential conflict and wish for Mr. Steele to remain as your chosen counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk with your host, Grace Levi. celebrity topic for you guys. Some may be interested, some may not, but this is a very important topic, I think, to the Black community. And the reason why is because we are constantly stuck in the prison system, and that's because we're doing stupid shit like this. And I'm about to show you update on the YSL case. Now you know it's YSL, Young Thug. I'm so confused about who is what. My brother got to tell me. I thought this was somebody YSL in this thing. I watched the whole interrogation, and they used so many tricks on this person. It was ridiculous. And then this person was already an informant. But my thing is, how did the video get out? That's first and foremost. So basically, this article is deserve every bullet. That's what they say. And then you're going to promote this. You're going to say that. Witness in YSL case could be in danger after interrogation leaks. Okay, so first and foremost, whoever did this may work for them. And the reason, well, YSL and all of them. And I'm just saying, I'm like, how? Because by them doing this, they put this witness life in danger. You have so many ignorant people. And they Ben was looking at Young Thug. What's the other one name? Whatever. They already was looking at the other gentleman that was ratting on Young Thug as is he a snitch? He not a snitch. So what's going to happen? They said they have over 300 witnesses, and this case is supposed to be the long case. In a week or two, we're going to get an update that the witness list severely was cut in half, first and foremost. You think people are going to be dealing with this? You think people are going to be talking, and then they life in danger? No, they don't have no security. They know the police is not really going to put them in witness protection. They don't have nothing but their area when their family and where they live. You think they're going to do this? So this right here, in my opinion, was something to throw the case out the window. It was a first step, especially after you got to be listening to what the judge is acting so weird, but he's acting weird from a legal perspective because he's doing his own thing, but he's not acting weird from understanding Georgia, because Georgia courthouse, any place, they do their own thing unless you just stand on your ground and just, I don't know, just keep on fighting. I haven't won a case out here yet, but I'm coming to try to win one coming up. I won a lot of cases in Jersey. Out here, they gonna just railroad you. Nope. Can't put that in. Nope, don't say that. And if you don't have the money to get the transcripts and to take it to higher court, you just lost. They just got you on papers, and this is how it works. And we're gonna update you about a law in Georgia. They set us up. They said all the people who migrated over here thought you had freedom and this was a blue state. Watch what happened. We're gonna read that after this. So this is about this gentleman's life being in danger, and they're basically saying this witness deserves every bullet. Fulton County District Attorney Finney Williams is concerned about witness safety after video of him speaking with interrogators leaked online. The video, which has been viewed more than 30 million times online, show a man who has been identified being interrogated in the YSL gang case against hip-hop artist Young Thug. It puts people's lives in danger, Williams told Channel 2 investigative reporters Mark Wing. My worst fear is that it is used as an intimidation tactic and people might be hurt. See, you know that they ain't gonna be testifying. I don't have time for this. She says it is unclear how the video got out, allegedly, but this is in this interrogation room in a police department. Unless we got some smart people hacking computers. She says authorities have had it for over a year, but the defense attorney just got it 2 months ago. He leaked it. Told y'all, it says a defense attorney got it 2 months ago. I had to process that statement in my head. So that means, allegedly, now all of a sudden it's leaked. They can't even prove it, though. How are they going to prove it? I'm happy to have them make a determination or find out where it came from. I know it didn't come from us, allegedly, defense attorney. Man, Keith Adams. The caption in the video do not appear to be completely accurate, but Wills confirms a section of the video in which the man claimed to have known about the murder about to happen is accurate to what he said. This is a murder that is about to take place with some very hot people, and the stuff that I know right now should be able to help me get out of situation, the man appears to tell the investigators. Williams says that many comments on the YouTube videos threatens the man's life. That explicit deserve their every bullet he gets coming. One comment says, "You gonna die, goofy." Oh. So, first and foremost, when I was listening to this man was singing like a canary. And he like, listen, he crazy. He was basically saying, Young Thug wanted blood, allegedly. I'm telling you, you gotta listen to this. He said he wanted blood, and he kept calling out these hits. He was calling out so many hits that the dudes that's under him was like, "Oh no, this is crazy. This is too much. It's too much. We can't do this. We don't know what's going on with this man." You know, they started like backtracking. They like, if anything happened, we going down. And this is what this guy was saying in the interview. So with that goes to say, my young people who on the street who are literally out there doing crimes, doing it with people, that first and foremost, that's stupid. If you're gonna do something, do it by yourself. I ain't promoting criminality, but don't be dumb. Secondly, gang mentality is the first thing that's going to get you in this type of situation, because they have these RICO charges and they also have these gang charges. So any affiliation and those type of things, you in court in the action, they're going to move forward and try to charge you with racketeering and things. And then you're going to have your friend, like this boy right here, talking about something, what you can do for me, because he always crazy. Like, I can't be dealing with this. He's stressing me out. I'm stressed out. He got everybody killed. Talking about he want blood. He want blood. We don't understand it, like what is going on, but we just trying to get some money because we just need some money. That's what he has said, allegedly. So with that goes to stay, please stay off.
So those are the two motions outstanding right now. The more immediate one is the motion to restrict discovery, and then the one that's that you'd like to forecast out a little bit would be the motion for a questionnaire. Okay, all right. I'll need to probably set both of those for hearing, so to give all the other related and interested parties an opportunity to respond. When did you file your motions to restrict discovery and for the questionnaire? The questionnaire hasn't been filed yet. I understand that. That's coming.
Monday. No, questionnaire hasn't been filed.
No, the one for restrict.
Restrict is Monday.
Monday, Judge. It was filed Monday and served.
Okay.
Basically, we found a lot of information concerning one of our witnesses, basically on a TMZ type outfit.
Okay.
In social media. We've had to put one witness in isolation and protective custody.
All right. I can hear that on the 8th of September.
Aye, sir.
Okay. All right, so I will hear that motion to restrict discovery on the 8th of September. Okay, 9 o'clock.
And Your Honor, in that vein, Kristen Nove on behalf of Mr. Kitchens. Mr. Kitchens objects to the state proceeding via proffer. We want to know what specific threats there are. For example, if something's posted on social media and a witness says, somebody comments, "That's ridiculous, somebody should push you off a cliff." That's very different than a direct threat to the witness. So we can do that in camera. We can do that, if the court prefers, we can do that in chambers so as not to put the witness's name out there. That's fine, but there have been many allegations that there are threats to witness, and to date, we have received no discovery, not a single shred of discovery of a witness who is actually threatened and evidence of that. So we requested this time that the state produce some witness, some document, some screenshot, something, so that this can be actually verified when we hear this issue.
All right, Mr. Geary.
If these were actual charges, I probably would agree with counsel. They're not. The statute permits us to do an ex parte reveal. We have done that. We would not want to reveal it even to defense counsel, given the danger or potential danger of these witnesses. So the court's aware of what we know at this point in time, as permitted by the statute, and that would respectfully be the plan that we would expect to follow. We don't want to further endanger. I don't know that we will. I made it very clear that I have no information that a particular defendant has either made a threat or arranged for a threat to be made. I don't know how much clearer I can make that they want to know who some potential third party is that I can't even identify in all situations, I think is not relevant. I think the threats are out there. We've made the court aware. There's even been a threat to our sheriff and his wife that they would be killed. That one, we identified the perpetrator, and that person is in custody. It is actually a relative of one of our 28 named defendants. The court's aware of that one as well. So we followed the law on that. The law does not address us giving this information if it's not a specifically named charge, and for that, we have not given that information.
Okay, Ms. Novi, I'll take it up when I hear the motion on the 8th. If you have any written or other law or that you'd like to present to the court for my consideration, just please send it to myself and Mr. Kearns, the court staff attorney, prior to the 8th of September, okay?
Thank you, we will.
All right, thank you, madam. All right.
Gossip. Okay, you know I gotta bring it down just a little bit. Now we're gonna we're gonna talk a little bit of law. We're gonna talk about celebrity gossip. This is an update that's brought to you by Lawyers for Workers. You know, on Uncensored Enlightenment Talk, we've been following the YSL case and all of the drama and all of the racketeering nonsense and how, you know, they just set everybody up with no evidence, but the people out there really doing stuff. You know, the way our system set up is like a clown show. So there's been a lot going on with this judge and the way he's been behaving towards the jurors and his way that he's teaching the jurors what they're supposed to do. Just really out of pocket, but it's pretty normal for Georgia because Georgia just do what they want to do. So this is brought to you by Lawyers for Workers, and it says this actually has huge implication for Young Thug. I really hope that his team is looking at all of the possible due process violations that are going on when it comes to the jury selection. I'm telling you, he's just doing anything. And that's what they do. They don't go do due process. But us in the Black community, we don't understand what due process is. And we don't understand due process is actually procedure law, meaning that they're supposed to file papers right, talk right, do certain things. And that makes the case valid. When these things are not done, you can go back and challenge it. This guy is telling YSL lawyers right now, they're fucking up. They're creating a lot of holes, a lot of actual, as we say, processing issues, which is procedure issues within the case. And you're going to be able to get the case thrown out. That's what he said. That's what he's trying to say. So somebody in they just one reply, absolutely, including the fact that the major networks are releasing documents with misinformation leading up to the trial and during. Yes, you already see that somehow they leaked out a witness face. And this young boy life is in danger. There's allegedly supposed to be 300 witnesses in this YSL case. You think that they're going to be 300 witnesses now after they done put that one man life in danger? Do you think somebody's going to waste their time and and that's what separates the community from situations like this, because it's the time, it's the ridiculousness, as well as the danger. So if you have a system like this, that's a shit show, excuse my language, and you got jurors that gets involved and, you know, somebody don't like the fact that they're involved, their life could be in danger. Listen to what you got to say.
Removes juror from the Murtaugh trial to misconduct. I was hoping that they would put this up as a prop bet in Vegas because I knew this was going to happen. So what happened? Let's break it down for a second. All right. Juror number something is talking to people about his opinion on the case. Judge says, obviously that's improper. We got to kick him out. Why did I know this was going to happen? Duh. The judge himself the other day said, oh, I saw something on my Twitter about this. It's everywhere. You're going to have a trial for weeks, months. It's going to be open to the public. There's going to be video cameras. You're going to let people stream. What do you think is going to happen? Where are the adults in the room that look at our system and say, you know what, this system, the world is changing and the system that we have, it's not working. Where are the adults in the room that go, hey, in a world of social media, instant reaction, every Tom, Dick, and Harry with a cell phone and an opinion going like this, if you have 12 members of the jury out there in the world for months, they're going to get impacted by the press. They're going to start talking to people. You got to either sequester juries, shorten trials, come out with better instructions. You got to see and react. You can't just continue to do. That's what we do in every aspect. We just keep doing it the same way because it works for some people. Look, due process requires a fair trial. Young Thug, they want to have juror selection go on for months and then the trial go on for years. And the same crap is going to happen. Jurors are not supposed to be removed. That's not a normal process. That's a complication that you don't want.
Yeah, you can hang for a mistrial. You could now, basically, Young Thug, he can try to go for a mistrial and get it all restarted again, which is going to take more of the state's money. You see what I'm saying? It's a shit show. It is a shit show. And that's why we need to understand law too, because it don't just apply to his case. It could apply to yours. I get into another topic that has to do with our celebrities. This topic is something that we've been following on Hood Politics, which is the YSL case. And the reason why we're following it, one, is because of the way that they're applying the laws is totally crazy. And the way that the damn judge is acting is even more crazy. So we got an update about the YSL judge and his damn behavior, because he ain't acting like a regular judge. And even Lawyer from Workers even said it, like the way he behaved is not typical. But as I told them, or as I said, judges in Georgia doesn't act typical. This is a do as you want to state. They apply what they want. Judges scold potential juror in Young Thug RICO trial, threatening to send him to jail for calling reporter covering trial. Why the hell would he do that? Why would the person call? And how the hell? The judge say people be snitching. He said it at the beginning. People be snitching. A potential juror is high profile racketeering RICO trial of hip hop recording artist Jeffrey Williams, better known as his stage name Young Thug, was held in contempt by the court and given a lengthy scolding by the judge overseeing the case early Monday morning. Why shouldn't I hold you in contempt, sir? Judge Urel Granville asks. Contempt is punishment by fine of $1,000 or 20 days in jail. So why shouldn't I do that? The juror was audible during the contempt hearing, saying they were just inquiring about the speed of the hardship. Granville started to ask if the question went against something, but he quickly cut off the juror who agreed that it does. I take full responsibility, the male juror said. What the fuck did he ask? Just inquired about the speed of the hardship. What is that? Let's listen. What the hell is the speed of the hardship? The reason that I go through all of this. Okay, listen to this, guys.
Why shouldn't I hold you in contempt, sir? Contempt is punishable by a fine of 1,000 days in jail. So why shouldn't I do that?
Well, Your Honor, I was just inquiring about the speed of the speed of the hardships.
But doesn't it go against?
It does, and I take full responsibility.
Why you gonna let him go?
I mean, the reason that I go through all these admonitions is I told you that we have actually had people do those in other trials, and that affects the fairness, the lawfulness, and the of the trial as to both sides. I mean, that admonition I went through with you all was probably about 10 minutes at least. Yes.
Yes.
So why would you think this would be okay for you to inquire about this?
It was a dumb mistake on my part.
I mean, because that tells me you were listening on the media, which is what I told you not to do as well. Remember?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, this is how we have hiccups in trials, and we have to sometimes start over because people don't do what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to find you in willful contempt of my order. I'm going to sentence you to 20 days, but I'm going to suspend those 20 days on the condition of two things. One, you're going to do 10 hours of community service at a school, a synagogue, a church, telling them this is your subject title, behavior, choices, consequences. All right?
Like a child.
When we pick a jury in this case, you're going to come for the first 5 days of trial.
Okay.
That will satisfy your contempt. If you don't do the 10 hours and provide me proof, you need to do that within the next 30 days.
Roger that.
Fair enough?
That's very fair.
They always putting somebody on the damn books around this. I told you, come to Georgia, you're going to be on the damn books. They're going to find a way to give you probation. We're going to go do some community service, go on a chain gang for 10 hours. And you got to pay to do community service. You got to pay. Oh, you thought that you just signed up and it's free. No, you got to pay. Then you pay a little stupid fine. Georgia is like a triple jeopardy state.
We've got some new developments tonight involving yet another twist in this ongoing YSL RICO case. We're talking about a Fulton County Sheriff's deputy arrested earlier today and accused of trying to smuggle contraband to a defendant in the case. This deputy, Akiba Stanley, in this mugshot here, in the past hour, the Fulton County Sheriff announced she has been fired. And we have learned she was previously fired from the Atlanta Police Department when an investigation found she was unfit to serve as an officer. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joining us now live in studio tonight. And in the past few hours, we received the arrest warrant for Stanley. So, Latasha, what is going on here?
Well, there's a lot to unpack, Jennifer. The deputy is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Christian Eppinger by communicating with him on Instagram, visiting his cell, and trying to smuggle items to him. Now, you may recall Eppinger is accused of shooting an Atlanta police officer last year. He remains behind bars tonight, and the deputy is too. Akiba Stanley took an oath to serve and protect, but officials say her track record as an officer is now criminal. Her arrest warrants detail her having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate, visiting his cell, communicating with an inmate through Instagram, and trying to smuggle contraband to Christian Eppinger from one of his relatives. Eppinger is accused of shooting a veteran Atlanta police officer several times last year while he was being taken into custody. He's also a defendant in the YSL RICO case awaiting trial. Stanley's charges include a violation of oath of office, reckless conduct, and conspiracy to commit a felony. But this isn't the first time her conduct as an officer has been questioned. According to state records, Stanley started working for the Atlanta Police Department back in 2016. But during a 30-day period, she received several complaints. Some are outlined in this investigation obtained by 11 Alive. It states her actions during traffic stops made her unfit to be an officer. The investigation also found other officers complained about her behavior. She was terminated from APD back in 2018. Post-certification records also show Stanley was ordered to complete a 6-month ethics and professionalism course at her own expense back in 2020. She then began working at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office last October. And in a statement late this afternoon, the Fulton County Sheriff announced Stanley has in fact been fired, and he calls her actions reckless and put the lives of others in danger. Faith?
Latasha, thank you so much for bringing us that report.
As the criminal case against Atlanta rapper and alleged gang leader Young Thug continues, nearly 24 other defendants now are heading toward a trial. A handful of people have now taken plea deals. The latest came this afternoon when Young Thug's own brother pleaded guilty. Joe Hankey has been following this case and has a look at who has cut deals with prosecutors so far.
Well, Jeff, Quantavius Greer entered his guilty plea today ahead of a trial for a case that is scheduled to go to trial next month. Greer avoided prison by taking a deal, but he cannot have any contact now with Jeffrey Williams, his brother, better known as Young Thug. The dominoes are starting to fall, and the court case focused on Young Thug, an accused leader of Young Slime Life, or YSL. Prosecutors say it's a criminal street gang. Defense attorneys have called it a record label. Last week, Sergio Kitchens, better known as rapper Gunna, took the first plea deal, followed by Walter Murphy, an alleged YSL co-founder. Then Wooney Lee, rapper Slime Life Shoddy, and Martinez Arnold, rap name Little Duke, cut deals. Now today, Quantavius Greer or rapper Unfunk entered a guilty plea. All 5 have been sentenced to between 9 and 10 years on probation. They will also have to testify at the YSL trial if attorneys on either side ask them to.
The Fifth Amendment says I am not going to testify because I refuse to incriminate myself. You can do that.
Daryl Cohen is a prosecutor turned defense attorney. He's not involved in the YSL case, but is following it closely. If Gunna, Greer, or any of the others to take plea deals are called to testify, he says they can only use the Fifth Amendment to avoid certain questions, meaning they could offer valuable testimony.
But you cannot take the Fifth when it comes to testimony towards someone else or some other people that were involved in a crime.
Young Thug is charged with violating the state's RICO Act along with criminal street gang and firearms crimes. Other defendants face those same crimes, while a few are charged with murder and attempted murder. Cohen says with each guilty plea, remaining defendants might start becoming nervous.
More of a possibility that people are going to testify against me, and it may not just be one person, maybe 2 or 3 or 4. But on the other hand, I would use it and say, yeah, they pled guilty because they are guilty. We're pleading not guilty because we're not.
And here is a look at the plea deal taken by Young Thug's brother, Quantavius Greer. He'll have to serve 10 years probation, complete 750 hours of community service, testify if called upon, cannot possess any guns, and will have a curfew to follow. And as we mentioned, cannot have contact except through attorneys with any other defendants in this case. It includes his brother, Young Thug. Now, jury selection is set to begin for this case the first week of January. Jeff?
All right, Joe, thank you. The legend and legacy of the man known as Young Thug, it's complicated, very complex, as his own art that earned him a Grammy could be what keeps him incarcerated.
I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body.
His song lyrics, as well as his life, are under the microscope. 11 Alive explains this complicated case as well as his impact within the community in our documentary series, Jeffrey.
Welcome everybody to Law and Crime Daily. I'm Jesse Weber. He is one of the biggest names charged in a gang indictment in Atlanta, Young Thug, but he is just one of nearly 24 people charged in connection with YSL or Young Slime Life. A 7th defendant chose to take a plea deal this week that'll get him out of jail. Prosecutors say that 41-year-old Antonio Sledge was a member of YSL since 2012. He's accused of threatening a member of a rival gang, participating in a drive-by shooting, and having knowledge of at least one murder committed on behalf of the gang. The state alleges that Sledge got money from Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, to lay low for a while. Sledge is one of several defendants who chose to plead guilty instead of going to trial. Young Thug's own brother, Quantavious Grier, accepted a plea deal this week. He was sentenced to 12 years, which was commuted to 2 years of time served plus 10 years probation. Sledge, sitting on the other side of his attorney, listened to what he and the gang are accused of.
Defendant has personal knowledge that he and other members or associates of YSL have either participated in or directly committed at least one of the following crimes in order to increase the notoriety and reputation of YSL: murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder, theft, illegal gun possession, and illegal drug possession and sales. Mr. Sledge, how do you plead to count to the charge of conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act?
Guilty.
And how do you plead to count 30, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon previously convicted of a felony involving the use or possession of a firearm?
Guilty.
Now, because Sledge took a plea deal, there are going to be certain conditions that he has to meet in order for the court to abide by the sentencing plan that was laid out in the deal. So Sledge is required to testify in any trial that comes from this indictment, and he's not going to be allowed to invoke his Fifth Amendment right on the stand. In return, the prosecution recommended 15 years probation for the racketeering charge, with the firearm charge getting dropped. I'm here with my co-host and public defender, Brian Buckmeyer, joins me right now. So Brian, that's quite a serious list of offenses that the prosecution said this gang is connected to. Why only probation?
Jesse, probation seems strange for cases like this, and every defense attorney have their own theories when pleas like this are offered. The DA announced these charges, saying these men were connected to a gang that had plagued the city of Atlanta with violent crimes, that they had strong cases supported by controversial rap lyrics, but the plea deals seem too good to be true to believe all of that. If these people are so dangerous, and as promised, these cases are this strong, why the slap on the wrist? Now, don't get me wrong, months of jail, felony probation, and a criminal felony record are not easy things to live with, but pleas like this, when people are facing mandatory 50 years in jail, always makes me think that they have weak cases and need people to testify to make them strong. Regardless, it looks like a number of people getting pushed to trial for January 4th, but more will probably take pleas before that.
Oh, you might be right. I'm also here with my other co-host, former trial attorney Terry Austin. I gotta ask, are they literally getting away with murder right now?
Oh, absolutely, no question. You know, the bigger issue here, forget the deal or no plea deal, the bigger issue here is crime has risen 60% in Atlanta. And District Attorney, she basically, Willis, promised that she was going to go after this crime. And instead what we see here is a 56 count, indictment against these individuals. We have over, 20 individuals who are indicted. Why make it so complicated? Why not just go after these individuals? If there's evidence of murder and violent crime, then go after that. Make it simple. Instead, what we have is all of these people pleading out and getting a slap on the wrist. So I think the bigger issue is there's crime, and that crime is not being addressed here.
Yes.
Do you understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, a guilty conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, just like a conviction at a trial would, and that this is true regardless of any advice by your attorney or anyone else? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Just as there would be from a conviction following a trial.
Yes, ma'am.
For example, your guilty plea may affect your right to vote, your right to hold public office, your right to serve on a jury, your right to obtain a passport, your right to receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or the ability to obtain employment. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive, possess, or transport a firearm, or use a firearm in a crime, you will be guilty of a felony which may carry a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you waive any and all offenses, including any mental health offenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you have the right to a trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to testify to remain silent and not incriminate yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights, and after each right, I want you to answer if you understand that, okay?
Yes.
First, the right to a trial by jury.
Yes.
Next, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
The right to counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel if you cannot afford an attorney at the trial of your case.
Yes, ma'am.
The right to the presumption of innocence.
Yes, ma'am.
The right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
It is your decision to waive these rights and to guilty plea because you're a fact guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to indictment 22 SC 183572, where you're charged with count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. Count 47, conspiracy to commit a crime. Count 48, participation in criminal street gang activity. And count 55, conspiracy to commit a crime. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with a full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have 4 years from today's date for the felony charges to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, if this case were to go to trial, the state would expect to show and prove that between January 24th of 2013 and May 8th of 2022, that the enterprise known did unlawfully conspire to acquire and maintain and control of the United States currency and other personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity. And also, while members were associated with the enterprise, did unlawfully conspire to conduct and participate in directly in racketeering activity as described in our indictment, Your Honor. Associates of the enterprise, YSL, or Young Slime Line, they did conspire to associate together with others for the common purposes of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. And in furtherance of that conspiracy, the defendants engaged in the activities enumerated within our indictment. Some of the objectives, Your Honor, include but not limited to preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise through acts of racketeering activity, including murder, assault, and threats of violence. Also preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise by the posting of messages, images, videos, and songs demonstrating an allegiance to the enterprise and a willingness to engage in violence on its behalf. And those are just some of the ways in which they try to further the enterprise. Your Honor, the state would expect to show that this YSL started in the late 2012 in the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta, Georgia, and that some of the founders of this enterprise was Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, also known as Slime, Walter Murphy, also known as DK, and Trontavia Stevens, also known as Tick, and also known as Slug. That this group uses a variety of identifiers, including colors, clothing, tattoos, and hand signs, as well as verbal and written identifiers. And Your Honor, specifically, how Mr. Sullivan will contribute to this enterprise is that we have a number of Instagram postings of Mr. Sullivan. The first being, Your Honor, Mr. Sullivan was incarcerated, I believe, between 2014 and 2017. Upon his coming home from prison, we have a picture of him in that video. Excuse me, it was a video. In that video is one of the co-defendants, Jeffrey Williams, and they posted this on social media. And the tag of that was original slime shit, and that was posted and tagged by this defendant, who's also known as Obama.
Yes, sir.
All right. Before signing this indictment, did you have the opportunity to fully discuss all of the facts and circumstances therein with your attorney, Mr. Hoover, to your satisfaction?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything about the indictment you wish to ask me or ask any questions about?
No, sir.
All right. I'll note the indictment's been signed and the plea has been entered. Mr. Sumlin, based upon the responses that you've given during the court's inquiry, I find that your guilty plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I find a factual basis for your plea. I'm going to accept your plea as tendered and as negotiated. As it pertains to you in count 1, as conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, this court will sentence you to 15 years to serve on probation subject to the special conditions that have been set forth on the record already in terms of your plea, and I'll go over some of those with you in just a minute. As it pertains to count 47, conspiracy to commit a crime, murder, this court will sentence you to 15 years to serve on probation subject to the special conditions. Count 48 is participation in criminal street gang activity, YSL. This court will sentence you to 15 years to serve on probation subject to the special conditions already set forth. And on count 55, as it pertains to you, conspiracy to commit a crime, murder, this court will also sentence you to 15 years to serve probation subject to the special conditions therein. All counts 1, 47, 48, and 55 will run concurrently to you. That means that concurrent means they run at the same time, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. As part of your this particular plea in this particular case, you understand that you need to abide in full by each of the terms of your negotiated agreement between you and the state. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also understand if you fail to do so, that may constitute a violation of your agreement.
Yes, sir.
You also agree that you'll testify truthfully about any and all matters in regards to this case if you are further asked in any further judicial proceeding stemming from the facts and circumstances in this indictment. However, you reserve your right to assert your Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. You also agree to testify as to the acknowledgments that you have made within the terms of the plea agreement. Is that correct?
Yes,
the factual acknowledgments.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, all right. And then also you agree not to possess any guns during the term of your sentence unless your rights to do so have been restored. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You also understand and agree that you shall not commit any criminal acts. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You won't be able to do that as part of the general conditions of probation anyways, right? So, okay, all right. Additional special conditions of your probation are as follows: that you'll be subject to a curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless you're otherwise working in school. Situation like yours is that it's for two reasons. One, to protect you and those you better ensure that you'll complete your probation without a hitch. And then also for the pendency of this case, you can't have any contact with anybody else in this indictment, okay?
Yes, sir.
YSL co-founder Mondo claims that the district attorney working Young Thug's RICO case used to be his lawyer. I'm Asia Sky for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. YSL co-founder Mondo has claimed that the district attorney who is spearheading Young Thug's RICO case was once his lawyer. Mondo, who was not one of the 28 members named in the YSL RICO case, was a guest on the episode of the Ugly Money podcast on Friday, January 20th. During the conversation, he revealed the connection to the Fulton County, Georgia district attorney, Fannie Willis, explaining how he was her last case before she became the DA.
I'm saying, I ain't sitting here, I'm going to say this. Gonna say this because the same lady who the Fannie Willis lady, Fannie Willis lady, that was just my lawyer. I got proven facts for this with everybody. This things I know, everybody don't seen.
So wait a minute, yeah, Fannie Willis, was she the prosecutor?
She's the DA lady.
Yeah, the
now.
DA.
This
The
is
DA
all
was your attorney at one point in time.
Yes, this before she turned to be with the last case I just fought. I had just got out of jail.
Yeah,
I had just got out of jail. The last case I just fought. I was the last case she was doing before she turned to being the DA.
So she switched sides. She was on defense and then she went.
This on honest to God truth. This ain't nothing that can be hid. People know this. I got the video on my page right here. Matter of fact, we finna do this live interview right now to show you.
So she represented you on a case right before this case that she is.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
How God working the It's the honest to God truth. It ain't no cap in this. Somebody when you did interview, they're gonna show but he wasn't lying. This already, come on, man. It's just how God work. That's what I'm telling you, bro. God working mysterious ways.
So you think that she tried to use some of the things? You think
she
that
couldn't? She can't. That's conflict. That's like conflict of interest. You were just my lawyer. So how can you turn around and try to indict a for? Don't sound like you just use my lawyer. You just represent me.
Fannie Willis was the lawyer of one of the founding members of YSL, and then she turns around years later and indicts the YSL.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a year. It wasn't even years later. This probably like it was like 2-3 years later. It was years later. It's about 2.
How has nobody said anything about that? How is that not all over the news? How is that not something that's brought up? If Fannie Willis was representing members of the YSL, then why is she now the head DA of indicting and arresting members of the YSL? Like, she could basically try to use the information that she used to defend you to indict people.
But she ain't have she can't use no information. What you ain't got nothing on me saying I'm doing nothing. You feel what I'm saying?
Respect.
Do you just to be conflict of interest, period.
Do you think she got like something personal on your show?
I don't know. From all I know, bro, this is what I'm telling you. It was just my lawyer, bro. It was for real my lawyer. My boy, I ain't no cabin in this. Folk know this for real. So that was for real, just my lawyer, bro. I never seen this lady act like this. This is weird to me. That's how I know all this shit about politics and all this old funny stuff. It's serious. Politics is serious, bro. I never seen this lady. This just was my for real lawyer. I'm sitting here talking to her like how we talking, man. This lady, I used to talk to this lady like an auntie, you feel what I'm saying? So now that I'm seeing her do, I don't know what's going on, bro. All this is puzzling and scary as hell, like, and it's a lot of bullshit they putting out here and just saying, like, shit ain't right, bro. This shit weird to me.
Following the arrest of Young Thug, Gunna, and over 24 YSL members in May of 2022, Willis told WSB-TV that she'd been getting numerous threats on her life over it.
I'm much more cautious now than I've ever been in my life of paying attention to my surroundings. It's required for me to stay alive.
Fannie Willis says she ran for Fulton County District Attorney in significant part to help victims and to prevent other people from becoming victims. But now she's become victim of threats.
What are some of the things that have been said in threats?
Basically that they're going to murder me, that the DA is going to get got.
Because of how she does her job, and she's living her life amid extraordinary security measures.
And I'm not going to be intimidated from doing it, and doing it in the correct fashion and holding people accountable.
She says menacing communications about her, mostly on social media, ramped up a lot after the high-profile racketeering indictment involving some celebrity rappers and YSL, an alleged criminal street gang.
We don't believe that these threats were directed by anyone that is in the YSL indictment.
by people sympathetic, potentially, or affiliated?
I would say that people that are very sympathetic, maybe admirers of YSL and connected to them in some sense.
The number of YSL associates taking their case to trial has dwindled from 28 to a possible 14 after many, including Gunna, have taken plea deals, but some still don't have proper legal representation. However, 2 of the defendants did not accept plea deals when offered. Tenquarius, Nard Mender, and Durante Baby both rejected the deals offered to them in December, which would have seen them released from prison. They will now head to trial alongside Thugger, with Tenquarius facing 50 years and Durante facing a life sentence.
Wanna fuck the world, I'ma walk in erection. Spit without a thought, we do it reckless. Your nigga call us texting. You said, baby, don't be mad, you know how wet it is.
Tone up in your mouth if you ain't speaking good to me. I ain't built like him. Fucking with a G.